Mark's here today to give us some information on Google for small businesses and how you can be found and what you should be doing and so forth. That's pretty much right, isn't it?
That's right. That's right. Yeah. There's a number of things that people seem to get partially right, but never completely right. And trying to unravel that mess can be a bit of an issue, so happy to answer some questions on that.
Sure, okay. Well, so just as a bit of an introduction, what is Google all about and how relevant is it for businesses these days?
Especially in the local world and local search, Google has become the single most important place for people to find a business if they're not already familiar with it. Because there are other platforms where people will usually market themselves. People will create, businesses will create a website, they'll get a social media presence such as Facebook, which is obviously very popular and very good to do. But when it comes to, as a consumer, if you're looking for a business that you don't know anything about, the first point of call is usually going to be Google. And often that business, if it's location-based, is going to be on Google Maps. So therefore, the geographical information, the fact that the business is on Google Maps correctly matters to that business. So what I do is I help businesses make sure that their listing on Google Maps is as complete as possible.
Okay, so that's not really an obvious thing for people, isn't it? I mean, really, they're more worried about keywords and things like that with their websites. That's kind of the basic things they go
often
to.
Is, yeah. I often will have people tell me, well, I've actually got a great website, and I'll go, that's great, that's important, I'm glad you have that, it's one of those things that I really want people to do. But if that website is not actually being used because someone simply just wants to know where a business is, what they offer, and just go, they may never actually go to the website. So then you have to think, what's the website really doing for you, right? It's not, and what it actually does is it actually is one of the things that pushes that Google Maps listing up if it's been done well. It's part of the overall SEO experience. So I do believe it's important to make sure that you have a good website that's been well organized in terms of SEO. That's something that your web developer has to do for you. I don't do that part of things, but definitely getting your Google Maps listing thoroughly completed and very well established, and staying on top of it is very, very important. It's the first point of call I tell people if they're actually starting a business and they're a location-based business or a local business, sort that out first. It's the easiest thing to sort out, and it's free, which is one of the great benefits. Great,
excellent,
super,
perfect timing.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Solate, thank you.
Great, thank you so much. I should just mention that we're at Cake and Plate at Niagara Park today, and this is one of my favourite haunts. I think it's a great little comfortable place to.
I've been here a few times myself. Absolutely, yes.
That's good. So you're pretty particular with your coffee.
Yes,
so,
I am. Yeah,
must be pretty good.
It is. It's very, very. It's a choice location. One of the things I find often is confusing for people is they don't realize that even though their business is actually already on Google Maps, they may not know how it actually got there. They just think it's supposed to just be there. And what's actually happened is that some time ago, Google started to populate businesses on maps because they would have realized that that's good quality data. And it's something that they could eventually use to market with, obviously, because the fact is that if you've actually given Google a lot of information about your business, they can correctly position you. And that's one of Google's major purposes in the world, or their view, or what their mantra is to help organize the world's information in an easy to find way. So that's really what that's about. So, but if that information is on Google Maps, what if it's wrong? What if the address is wrong? What if the hours of operation are wrong? What if the photos don't represent the business properly? What if the business is closed? There's all these things that could actually be incorrect on Google Maps. And for Google Maps to be the most trusted source of information, it has to be as accurate as possible. And that's when the process of verifying a business, or where the business actually chooses to verify their business on Google Maps, is really the most important thing that they can do. That's the first step to controlling and protecting their brand online.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, Google, just the average user thinks of Google as the search engine where you just go and, if you want to know something about,
That's right.
or you want to find funny cat videos or something, you know, that, and then you go to YouTube. But I mean, or if you want to, you know, seriously, if you do want to find something about a local business, you just go and type it in. But for your own business, I mean, Google's a pretty powerful kit of tools, isn't it?
It is.
It is the kit of tools, really.
Quote me if I might be off on the number exactly, but the last survey that I saw in terms of Google's importance in search in Australia is 93.16% or something like that. It's really high. It's incredibly high in terms of what part of the search market that they actually have. So it's really important to make sure that you show up on Google properly. And if a business has an address listed, and they have competitors, automatically there's going to be what's called a 3-pack. You'll notice often there's a little map on the at the top of the search results that'll show the first 3 businesses that are either the closest or the most prominent. And what causes prominency in search, so that it's on page 1, are essentially the relevancy of the search, the recency of the search, and the proximity. Really, it's really important that you be close to it, but also that the content, the SEO that's actually driven it to get there, has been done recently. So keeping that information up to date on there is really important. That's why I encourage people to put up a lot of photos, and obviously to put up virtual tours, which I shoot, but to make sure that they continue to update that information. And one of the other areas that you'll probably see a lot in your Google My Business listing is reviews, right? Inside of reviews, you'll probably notice that some reviews are new and some are older, and if you're like me, you'll probably read the more recent reviews first.
That's right, yeah.
Because that's what's probably going to be most trustworthy, okay? So getting recent reviews and a consistent flow of reviews is also very, very important. So those are all factors that help grow the relevancy of search for Google.
Okay, so if you were going to list the main few points that small businesses should be looking at, what would they be? Okay. Say the top
number one things in terms of your Google My Business listing is number one, verify it. Okay, get it verified. Make sure that once you've done that all the information is absolutely accurate. Number 3, make sure that you've populated with photos, and if you can get a virtual tour, get a virtual tour shot and have it put in. And then number 4, request reviews and respond to the reviews. No matter if they're good or bad, make sure you continuously respond to reviews. Those are the key elements, and then keep it fresh. Now, there are other things that I can recommend too, because Google keeps changing the landscape. They keep adding new tools. Like one I really, really like that's a new thing is something called Google Posts. It's a little bit like Twitter for Google, where you can put up, for example, an event or a product that you have on sale or a special or a coupon or something like that. So that's actually an additional piece of information that you can add in. So that should encourage a business to be able to continue to add more information on their Google My Business listing. But really it comes down to first verifying it, making sure you put the photos up, get your virtual tour done, and keep your reviews up to date. Those are the really key things they got to do.